Oh, well done. Good evening. Right, so back on the Paladin because there's a little bit of questing I want to do. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, actually, is try and sign up for a dungeon. Except I think I've forgotten which dungeon I want to sign up for. I think it's this one. Because I've still got that quest, haven't I? This is Necrotic Wake. Hold on, did I click the right bloody one there? No, I didn't, did I? Leave queue, get out of there, go into there instead. Alright, that's better. Because that may take a while, if indeed it ever comes up as well. There's a quest that was not working for like weeks and weeks and weeks. It may now be working, I'm going to try that. But then the other thing I noticed is there's a new quest popped up at the start. So presumably they've added some more stuff in. And then when I've exhausted this, I'm going to have a pop along onto the Paladin in the other realm. Other zone. And we'll see how that goes on as well. So I'm just going to see, because I don't seem to be able to target this thing. So I've come all the way here, and in actual fact it's still not pissing working. This quest never works. It's really strange. But it's not worked in different ways every single week with every single build. Still, never mind. Let's just fill it in again. So this is Tough Love. So, Carla is in the right place. Fine. I wonder if I'm actually going to be able to get into this dungeon this time. I mean, it is very specific, the one I'm wanting to do, but it is because there is a quest in there. I'm also hoping that this quest that's just opened up here leads into something significant, because it'll be a little bit annoying. What's going on here? Sorry, there's a cable underneath my escape key. If they've put in this new quest and it just turns out to be a 5-minute job, that would be moderately annoying. The first thing I have to do is work out how to get out of here. Either that or abandon it and just use the Hearthstone, but I think I should be able to get out around here. Yes. What did I catch on that? Thought I caught on a bit of stonework there. I think that thing that keeps flashing up every time I go there, it seems to need at least 2 people to be able to activate it. I'm not wasting any more time on that. This is odd. The quest is coloured green now, as if me going up a level has somehow reduced the experience I get from it. Yeah, isn't it all scaled? But anyway, evening Fraser. Might actually find it useful to have a warlock follow you around on your paladin in Shadowlands. The curses are pretty good. Well, I only have one account on the alpha, so that's not going to be an option. I don't know what I'm doing here. I wanted to go right back to the beginning. So I'm going to have a little look, yeah, because I came on earlier. I actually came on earlier just to see if the Paladin was going to be allowed in Torghast, because I did enjoy Torghast last week, but it is not. It's still, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's only 3 classes not allowed. What are the 3 that are not allowed? Paladin, Rogue, and Hunter. So basically, the three classes that my three favourite classes are the ones that are not allowed in there. That's the way it works. But I was going to have a little play potentially on a Death Knight in there, which I may do a bit later. But I came on really just to check that out, see if the Paladin could go in, and then I saw this down here. So we're going to have a little look. A new bit of storyline. Because that is the thing that's going to hold quite a lot of interest for me, if indeed any of it can. I saw this, yeah, I don't know how I activate this, I have to say. Came down here before. So I don't know what that's going on there. What? Did I misread? Oh, maybe I'll create a hunter then. I thought it said... Anyway, I'll do this first. We'll come back to it later. I'd quite like to do it on a hunter. Alright, let's have a little read then. Given your presence here some thought, it's clear to me that you are no ordinary arrival from Oribos. Which is basically what I told him in the first place. Because you're supposed to be dead. This is like the afterlife. I do not know why you are here, nor what you hope. No, I don't either, because it's missed. This is what it does actually in the alpha. It throws you into the middle. It doesn't start you at the start of the narrative. It just obviously gets you to test things as and when they want them tested. Oh, Sleet's been playing Hunter. Oh, okay, I must have misread then. I'll make a Hunter a bit later then. You must understand, individuals do not merely come to Bastion on a whim. This fate is earned, and those that are chosen for it are uniquely suited to this existence. So I ask you, why are you here truly? Well, this will be news to me as well. So I saw something in the moor, apparently, but I don't know what I saw in the moor, so I'll just go through that first. Hang on a minute. Right. I think they've just changed the starting quest, because I've done this bit before in a previous one. Right. I think they've just redone an earlier quest. Because I have done this bit. Now what? They've all disappeared. Is this because... Right, this is... So it looks like what they've actually just done is... I think I might be making that hunter. Because it looks like what they've actually just done is to tweak... the starting quest. And because I've done the follow-up from it, so it's showing that there should be... I should be able to turn the quest in there, but I can't. Because I've done all the stuff that's later on. Right, okay, fine. So there isn't actually anything to be done there. Hi, Laertes. Belula misinterpreted things. Ian said, and now invented a fake time skip, when in reality Ian was just saying that time isn't uniform all over the Shadowlands. I don't know what he'll have done. I haven't watched, to be honest, I haven't actually watched any videos that anyone's done on Shadowlands. I'm not just ignoring certain ones, although I would ignore him at the moment. Now this is awkward, because what I'd really like to do is to do that dungeon, and I was hoping, because there are some people signing up for it, maybe. I was hoping that this was a new quest for me to try out, but it's not. It's just, they've just changed the quest I've already done on this character. So, what I do is I might have a wander around and see if they've put any more quests in this zone. They obviously haven't fixed that one yet. That one's now knackered. And that one's the dungeon quest. I'll have a wander, and if not, I'm just going to have to go on something else and just sod it again. Hi, Carlos. Well, the thing is, I mean, what I found, obviously I'm not spending a lot of time on this now. I don't really play WoW that much. I may change that in Shadowlands. That's why I'm now testing this. And obviously I was allowed to test it. But, you know, at the moment, to be perfectly honest, I'm spending all of my spare time on Elder Scrolls Online, getting ready for the expansion. The expansion for that's coming out a week on Tuesday. And I'm furiously trying to level another character for that, to go through on that. But at a time when I was prioritising World of Warcraft, you know, when I was in the alpha, I found it very easy to do. I think sometimes I did do a video every day, because the other thing is I was playing live and I could comment on that stuff as well. You know, it's not difficult to come up with, if you're just going to do a discussion video, it's not actually if you're really immersed in the game, as I used to be, but not anymore. It's quite easy to come up with topics. But it is what it is. And obviously, you know, you might change in an alpha experience, you might change your mind a lot as well, because we're only seeing a very small snapshot at the moment, and as they put more in, it can change our points of view on something. Time skip would be nightmare to those role players whose hero character didn't go into Shadowlands. I mean, time is messed up in this game anyway, isn't it? Oh, no, hold on. I just saw a question mark, exclamation mark, sorry. Where? I saw a quest. Quest! There is a quest. Excellent. Cracking. All is not yet lost. We might get into that dungeon yet, or we may not. Let's have a look at this then. Nemi and I have opposing viewpoints. She lords her Larian, creatures native to Bastion, whom she raises and trains as her companions. However, I find that Phalanx are the superior beings. They are efficient, obedient, and easy to work with. Please come learn both of our ways. Perhaps you can decide which of our ways of life is superior. Oh God, I've got to... Oh dear. Right, well, what am I actually supposed to do here? Hold on. Am I just following them? No, I'm not. I'm just supposed to go off to where they want me to go off to. But, you know, the thing I keep pointing out is ever since Cataclysm, time has been totally at odds. You know, you get your character, level 1, and it's all about, you know, the coming of Deathwing and the fall of the Lich King. You know, so the Lich King at this point has been defeated. The war was very costly, all the rest of it, all very political in Westfall. And then you get to level 70 and it tells you to go off and fight the Lich King. And you're thinking, well, at level 1 you told me he was dead. What's going on here? Or that at least he'd been defeated. Time makes no sense in this game anymore. So I don't know what damage time skips would do. Am I supposed to be up? Good that in the next expansion you could do Wrath Zones first, then come to Westfall. Well, yeah, but it's still not... You know, you'd have to know in advance, wouldn't you? That that's the way you're going to do it. if indeed you did choose to do that. You don't have to. But the way it's been for years now, how long is it since they messed it up? It's like 10 years. For a decade, the timeline has been knackered. Tamed Larian met. Oh, alright. Have I got to stroke them or something? Oh no, I just have to wave at them. Apparently that's good enough. That every WoW main player character is single and never going to have a family. What's that? Oh. Most RPGs have a limited time span in which the main story happens, so there's room for a possible family life after the game. But is it fair to say every WoW main player is single and never going to have a family? Well, yeah. If you want anything else, then you really need to play Elder Scrolls Online, where you can actually get married. Come here, you pain in the ass. Oh. Oh, I haven't met them. Where is that one? Have I got to try and approach it? There we go. Done. My hopes are not high for this quest, by the way. At some point... Oh, I think it's going to let me start killing something now. Right. So we've done the preamble. It's now time to kill things, I think. Have I had a chance to take part in any dungeons as Ret? This is the answer to that question. No. I mean, I've been particular about which one I want to go into, I have to say. But no, I haven't. Although the main thing to be learned from the dungeons, I think, is really going to be the dungeons themselves rather than the class. Because this, you know, there are differences, obviously, with several talents going baseline for Ret. But in terms of what I'd be using... Oh dear, it's evaded. What I'd be using, not so much, because... the ones that have gone baseline at the moment are ones I would have anyway. I'd have Hammer of Wrath, and I would have Ashes, Wake of Ashes. Consecration, I wouldn't have taken Consecration, but in an AoE situation, yeah, okay. But I'm not going to use it an awful lot, am I don't know what difference there would actually be if I think about it. Set word. Oh, 149. I'm just trying to see. Have they? See, Word of Glory is still crap by the looks of it. Look at that. 1244 healing on a single target. That's like 10%, a little over 10% of my health, total health. For 3 holy power. It's absolute rubbish. Just wondering, because world content doesn't usually let you have enough time to really test out the rotation. Well, no, I mean, sometimes tougher mobs, you know, tough quest mobs sometimes do. But in a dungeon it's tricky as well, because you're having to stare down at your buttons all the time, stuff like that, before you can actually set yourself up a UI. And as I say, the rotation isn't really going to be fundamentally different to live. It could, I mean, it could be depending on what people have chosen, but it's not really going to be. Like I say, there's only really Consecration in this collection. I mean, I would I quite like taking Inquisition in BFA as it was, and I would here as well, but for the fact, you know, with a standard UI, I wouldn't like to have to manage Inquisition. Because you know, I wouldn't be focusing in the right place. I'm sure there'll be training dummies somewhere. Actually, where they're in, there might be some in that where I've got my Hearthstone set. I'm not sure actually. I'm not entirely sure how or even if I can get back to, say, Stormwind on this. I remember in BFA Alpha, it was a little while before you could actually go to Stormwind. It used to just plonk you in Drusvar if you were Alliance. Right, okay. Have I done everything around here? Yes, I think I have. So Blizzard brought the ticking timer into Thorgaz after all, which nicely diminishes our chances to toilet breaks during runs. Oh, have they? Okay, I did not realise this. That seems a bit unnecessary. That's disappointed. Well, it's just as well I haven't done my Thorghast video yet. Mostly because I've been, you know, busy with other stuff. But that's just as well if they've gone and made a major change that would significantly impact how I'd view it. Because yeah, if you're going to be in somewhere for a while, you need to just be able to, you know, stand in a corner and go for a piss or a drink, or even so, you know, I'm approaching it obviously now as a casual player, this content, and Thorghast looks quite good for a casual player. But that's not really conducive with having a timer, although. Oh, they're all upset with me. Now it's time to use consecration. Oh crap. Jesus Christ. That bleed must be quite vicious. Right, I might have to treat these with a bit more respect now. Oh, piss off. Apparently they wanted to stop people waiting for cooldowns before each pull. If people want to spend their time doing that, who gives a crap? Like, seriously. It's one of those situations where the cure is worse than the disease, isn't it? I mean, it's not competitive content, surely. It's only a slowly stacking damage taking debuff, but still gives you a sense of hurry. Well, it would do. I mean, I think that's, you know, if someone's going to wait for cooldowns before each pull, then, you know, they're literally going to be spending 20 hours to do something that would ordinarily take like a few. If they want to push to higher levels, because presumably, obviously, they're not going to be doing that on the early levels, are they? I mean, for goodness sake. I think this is unfortunately something Blizzard keep doing quite a lot of. They think, right, this is a behaviour we don't want. So what do we do to dissuade it? And they never actually just stop to think if it's worth it or if the behaviour was really that bad in the first place. Unless they've got something else planned for the content. But it doesn't, to me, sound like competitive content, in which case, why apply anything like that? I mean, are they going to do the same thing on quests now? You know, when you take up a quest, are you going to have a slowly stacking debuffs if you take too long on it? Oh, crap. Don't have my things reset. Yeah, well, I mean, that's ultimately it. It is micromanaging is the word for it. It is what they do. You know, there's too many examples of it in the game. I mean, you know, the daily emissary quests and things like that are just a way of saying we want you to play every day. Here's some hassle. If they want people to log on every day, I would go along with ESO's idea, because they encourage you to log on every day. And the way they do that is every day you log in, you get a reward. And sometimes those rewards are a bit tasty, but they reset at the end of the month. So if you want, usually there's a unique like cosmetic reward in there. And if you want it, you don't have to log on every day in that month because it's never the last one. But it will be usually 2/3 of the way along in the month. And that way, you know, you log on most days. And then you'll get it. And if you don't, then you won't. But either way, all you actually have to do is literally log in for a few seconds and do that. There's no hassle with it or anything like that. They compared it to degenerate gameplay, which apparently is only okay when they design it into the game, like Retribution or a Shield of Vengeance. Well, yeah, that is a good point, isn't it? Yes, I could have a conversation with them about degenerate gameplay if that's what they want to do. I mean, what can I say? Disappointing. You know, I said it's just one of those things that, like at the moment, I'm playing this because I'll not keep going over it because most people here will know this anyway. But you know, I don't really play WoW. If I do anything on live at the moment, it's only to get characters ready, and I haven't done it for a while, for Shadowlands, and I am only going to play Shadowlands if I think I'm going to enjoy it. Because there is competition, so, you know, at the moment, I don't... My pattern of life at the moment allows me some time to play computer games. Not as much as I used to. Nowhere near as much as I used to. Now, I'm not going into there, am I? Am I back on top? I assume I'm back on top of it. Now, there are multiple games that I enjoy playing. At the moment, I'm really enjoying Elder Scrolls Online. Other times I like, you know, want to get back into Star Wars The Republic. There's lots of games I would like to play. I'm not going to play Shadowlands if I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. I didn't enjoy Battle for Azeroth as a casual player. I would have loved it as a raider, but I'm definitely not going back to raiding. Do not have the time for that. And also, I'm not really inclined to do it anyway. I've done enough. Torghast, as I noted last week, is the sort of content that I would think, yeah, I could do this. I could play, you know, Shadowlands. I could do the, you know, when a new patch comes out, I could do the storylines. And what am I supposed to do? Is this one of these things where fly through the rings? Oh, balls. Alright, do I have to restart this? It's just randomly dropped me on the ground. Sorry, I may have to, you know, hold that thought and try again. Right. Okay, apparently I've got rings to fly through. I just thought it was taking me. Up we go. Ah. Oh, that's for attacking things. I'm going to have to attack something at some point, am I? Right, where? Oh, there's one there. Right, I've done it. Okay, fine. Right, where was I? Yeah, so, you know, and I'm not saying that one little change would completely ruin Torghast for me, but it's the sort of thing that might. And if it does, I'll be thinking to myself, well, you know, even playing casually World of Warcraft, there's a certain amount of time you need to do. Because, like I say, a new patch comes out, you need to do the main quest, you need to do a bit of LFR, a few dungeons maybe. You know, and you want some time to be doing the content that you'll enjoy. And if that for me is Torghast, then that's fine. But if I don't enjoy it, then I'll be thinking, well, what is the point? And I'll just go sod it. I'll just play Elder Scrolls Online instead, which doesn't force me to do any content I don't want to do. That's all. And even, you know, and they give me lots of options to do the various types of content as well. Lots of different ways of accepting, of approaching it rather. Anyway. Challenge modes, heroic scenarios, mythic plus, islands, horrific visions, they all use that timer mechanic. Yeah. I mean, for some of it, it makes sense. Challenge mode, obviously, it makes sense. There is no challenge in challenge mode without the timer. You know, mythic plus, again, it makes sense in terms of accessing, you know, and whether you get your key upgrade and all that sort of stuff. Totally fine with it in there. Islands, again, Islands was such a piss poor piece of content. Yeah, Islands didn't need it. Didn't need it at all. I don't know about the visions because I've not done them. I don't care about them because it's later BFA content when I'd already pretty much stopped playing it. Well, I had stopped playing it. You know, if it weren't for the fact that Shadowlands, I was thinking it might have some interest in it, I wouldn't even be doing this now. You know, if you're watching me doing anything, in fact, you know, if you're watching me doing anything at all on this channel, the only thing it would be other MMOs and maybe some Warhammer. Because I still haven't decided when you know, because there's no point at the moment because I can't even play Warhammer because of social distancing. But, you know, when that comes back online, I have thought whether I'll do Warhammer content, and I still have to decide whether I do it on this channel or the other channel I'd made specifically for it or what, I don't know. But there's all those sorts of things that I would rather spend the time on. You know, I'm doing this at the moment in the hopes that Shadowlands might turn out to be a nice game for a casual player. And at the moment, the big improvements that I am definitely seeing are in how you level a character. I think that's fantastic. But the bottom line is, it makes no difference whether leveling a character is fun or not. There is an end to it, and then it's the end game that is the real game, isn't it? Even if you have a good leveling experience. But, you know. Your kind of old school dungeon delver type really wish to spend a lot of time to get lost in that tower like in Blackrock Depths. But there it is there. Nothing I've seen in Torghast that interests me, no matter how many streamers show it. I hated horrific visions, so I feel I'll do even less Torghast. Yeah, I mean, you know, last week I enjoyed it. I did like it. But, like you say, if they're trying to micromanage the way you play, it's casual content. It's fun content. And if you surgically remove the fun element of it, then I think that is a big mistake. But I mean, my hopes were not necessarily high in the, you know, those that will know, I've a pretty dim view of the development team, and I really in BFA lost the capacity to believe that they have any learning mechanism at all. You know, they just do not seem to learn lessons. And sometimes they even seem to double down on failures. But they really don't seem to, even when they don't seem to... Oh, I'm supposed to use this thing on them. Right, I see. See, the last quest I got to just kill. Oh, is it because it's dead? Have I not got to kill it? Alright. I'm not supposed to kill them, maybe. Right. Okay, I've been killing them unnecessarily. I feel bad now. Because for me, the calculation comes down to this. Like, in World of Warcraft, what sort of content do you have? Like, if I log on... Oh, bloody hell. If I log on... you know, you can do your daily emissaries. Is that fun enough to keep me playing? No, of course not. That's a chore that you'll do when you need the gear or the artifact power, and at no other time. Don't go out of range. Oh, it didn't like that. Mythic plus dungeons, no good. There's no point in me even thinking about anything that would require another player, because unless I join a guild... The thing is, what happened at the last... with BFA is, I grouped with some other casual players that I used to raid with, but as soon as they, casual players, most casual players, eventually, they play for a month or two and then they stop, and then that's it. So yeah, there's no point in me even thinking about group content. I mean, LFR, I don't consider LFR group content. You know, would I do LFR? Yeah, again, but do I think that's fun enough just to play it? No, I can't think of any content that isn't just the chore. LFR is a chore. You know, the storylines are interesting. Sometimes doing the quest storylines are fun. Is it fun enough? I don't think so. Whereas Torghast is a form of, procedurally generated content that you could say that's, that's sort of interesting. Just from a casual point of view. So for me, the way I look at Shadowlands, for me to be playing Shadowlands, they need to get Torghast right. It'd be nice if they did other things that pissed a casual player off less as well. But there. Wonder how much Achilles syndrome there'll be in the Shadowlands plot, which is to say, how many dead souls were we responsible for sending to the maw in the first place? Oh, quite a lot. I mean, you have to bear in mind, in World of Warcraft, if a quest giver offers us an apple, we'll kill anyone. Anyone and anything. If a quest giver says, I want you to kill my neighbour's cat, we will kill it for an apple. I imagine there's a lot of people would not be pleased to see us here. What am I supposed to do with this crap? Don't make me read the quests. I don't... Oh, I can click on these. Oh, not the owl people. I hate the owl people. I really hate the owl people. Okay. This seems unnecessarily slow. I'm pretty sure I'm stronger than this. I don't believe that this is that heavy. WoW is full of furries these days. Well, it certainly seems to be, isn't it? Pick up one of these while we're at it. This had better not be heavy. Oh, it's not. That's fine. Have another one. Oh, I've bought both, yes. Right, let's see how many of these are. I've forgotten how many I've picked up now. It's at least 4. It may be 5. Right, yeah, it was only 4. This dungeon queue is not going very well. There's been me and one other person in it for like over half an hour now. I've been in the queue for 40 minutes. My hopes are not high. Maybe I'm just on at a bad time of day. I suppose what I should really do is make sure I'm not on during what would be raid time. Because that's probably what it is in Europe. What does he actually want me to do here? It says Leonid slain. Oh, that must be in the cave downstairs. Actually, there is a cave underneath here. So I'm guessing that's what that means. Yes, there it is. I'm still finding that, not necessarily this one, but generally speaking, in terms of the 2 zones I've been able to try out, I prefer the look of the vampire zone, but I do prefer the quests in this zone. They seem to be a bit more engaging, even this one, which is, you know. Alright, you go and do another search there. He's done with the training gems by the look of it. So, let's go and kill more of these worms first, though. I play a lot of other MMOs. I mean, I don't play a lot of other MMOs on the side, but which one do I find most appealing when it comes to animations? I suppose out of the ones I have played, it would be Black Desert Online. It's just in terms of animations. In terms of art style, I do prefer Elder Scrolls Online there. But I think in terms of the combat animations and things, you know, Black Desert Online is very good. Really have devotion aura. Right then, let's have a look at this little chappy here. Oh, it's dead. Anything in here? No. I do miss, I mean, someone was asking, I think last week, Black Desert. I do miss Black Desert Online, but again, I refuse to play it just because of its world PvP stance. It'd be not a waste of time. Yeah, so that's like what, 6 skills available at one time. WoW is bringing back all those skills in Shadowlands. Do you think it's a good idea? I mean, ESO has a massively different combat system, and also it's not 6 skills at one time, it's 12, because remember you've got your weapon swap to go between. But in terms of you know, is it going to be too much? It might be. It might be. I mean, I just think that Blizzard are fumbling a bit, you know. I mean, obviously what happened is WoW got itself up to a point where we had a ridiculous number of abilities, you know, and so Blizzard are not wrong to say that there were basically too much. There was, but the problem was not so much in the pruning of abilities. It was the pruning of certain abilities. I don't think Blizzard necessarily appreciated. I don't know where I'm going now. So it's not that people, I mean, I suppose maybe some people wanted loads and loads of abilities, but I think for the majority it was just they didn't want the iconic abilities being lost, like in the case of Paladin's Hammer of Wrath. I think, you know, this is fine, the turn evil, it's hardly ever going to come in useful. So this is generally okay. But, at the, you know, if you have, I mean, what? Let's have a look. If you decided to have executions, I mean, you could have loads of abilities here in your normal party rotation. What have we got straight away? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage abilities that might form part of a rotation. In addition, excuse me, you could have execution sentence for another one. There's nothing really in there. No, they wouldn't be part of your normal rotation. Same with that. Seraphim could have as another one. You wouldn't really call any of those them. And Inquisition. I mean, Seraphim and Inquisition together I think would be madness. But in theory you could. So you could have up to another 3 extra as well. And really Shield of Vengeance you could argue. I mean, because it's on such a long cooldown, I'm not going to call it part of the normal rotation. It's more like it is a cooldown really, isn't it? But you know, 8 I think is a lot to have in a rotation. I think, you know, if you get to a point where you could reasonably have, you probably would have either Seraphim or Inquisition. You know, there's a good chance of that. I think that's more than you really need. And I know you wouldn't always use consecration, but yeah. But anyway, you'd imagine turn evil be used in more than half the dungeons and Torghast probably the race. Oh dear, I hope not. I learnt back in Vanilla WoW that fear is not to be used in group content, because that's what it does. It's not a stun, it's a fear. Fear means running off and finding friends and bringing them back to you. I would be very surprised if people made strong use of turn evil. You know, if I'm in a dungeon and someone fears something, I just look on. It actually has the effect of providing fear for the players, doesn't it? All right. Oh, cool. We'll have those boots then. That's a sizable upgrade. What's going on here? Again, what's... Right, there's something really weird happening here now. Why are these higher item level than what I'm wearing? Right, okay, never mind. Anyway, any mage who is confused by having frostbolt doesn't deserve to be a mage. What's this? Oh yeah, but fire mages getting frostbolt back might just confuse players. Well, no, obviously there's going to be a lot of players who don't read guides or even look carefully and really consider. They'll just say buttons, let's press buttons, ooh, shiny. You know, you might get, and there's nothing wrong with that, you might get players who will look at a thing and go, oh, I'll use a fireball. I mean, something like WoW doesn't encourage you to think about it, whereas ESO, you know, Elder Scrolls Online, forces you to think about the abilities that you use. And I'm not saying which system's better, by the way. You know, ESO really was the first... okay. V formation. What the hell? Where's the V here? Oh, here. Oh, I suppose it'll be over here somewhere, won't it? There we go. Do you know, I've completely lost the thread now. What was I banging on about? Completely forgotten. I was distracted by him doing his things. Yeah, no, Elder Scrolls Online forces you to think about it because, you know, you can... First of all, you only have so many skill points. You've got to think about where you spend them on your abilities. And then you've only got so many. Oh, yeah, that's it. So Elder Scrolls Online, for me, was the first MMO I played where the gameplay, the combat style, was notably different to World of Warcraft. Not that I'm accusing the others of being WoW clones. I think the term WoW clone got thrown around quite a lot. I think sometimes it was fair. Sometimes I think it was just convenient. But ESO was the furthest thing. It was in no way like WoW. You know, it was an MMO, but lots of things. And some of those things, even now, even though I'd say ESO for a casual is a much better game than WoW, there are some things in ESO I still don't like. And I prefer the way it is in WoW. But there's not that many of them now. But the combats, and again, I'm not saying I prefer the combat system ESO, but it is very different. Hugely different. Have I got to pick a winner here? Alright, let them hear their reasoning. Phalanx exhibit exceptional understanding. They accept and follow commands with ease and never disagree or question. I'm going to say, before I listen to her, I have enjoyed the Phalanx quests more. So I'm likely to pick his. But let's listen to her. Forging a bond with even a single Aryan is no easy feat. They are particular beings, noble and stubborn. Yeah, she's not selling me on them. The process of earning their trust is fulfilling the soul. To the soul. There is no better feeling than partnership with a Larian who respects you. So basically, do you want the creature that's a lot of hard work or the obedient slave? I'm going to be honest, I want the obedient slave. Oh, but this matters for the character. Yeah, I'll have the obedient slave, please. Enjoy your soulless soldiers. Yeah, I will. I will. To be honest with you, as you've already pointed out in the chat, I am a character who has sent many souls to this place. The last thing I want is to encounter more souls that might be annoyed with me. You feel like gearing in ESO is not as exciting as it could be. I mean, is it less exciting than in WoW? I think it's more exciting because you've got all these different set bonuses. When you bring crafting into it, obviously once you've got up to you'll start trying to find the sets that you want. But the crafting in ESO is inspired. I think that's amazing. It's the best system. But like anything else, if you want particular sets, you will have to do a particular type of content. Even though the crafted sets seem really good to me, I'm not even sure. I mean, it must be the case because people do farm sets from the other places. But it seems to me that the gear is well suited to the content you might want to do. So I in ESO really just do questing. Maybe once I've finished leveling characters up and stuff like that, maybe then I will be more inclined. This dungeon's not happening, is it? I'll be more inclined to. Sorry, I'm actually going to sneeze. My tissues are hidden underneath the box of Necrons. I'll be more inclined to do some other types of content, but at the moment I keep leveling new characters. I mean, for Greymore, I've got 2 bloody Nords on the go. I'm not going to level both of them. I need to decide which one I'm doing. And I've got like a week to get whichever one it is ready. I'm up against it. So there won't be much time for this in the next week. Whereas in this, what do you do for gearing? What do I do for gearing? I do LFR. Because it's like, this is the gear you should get in WoW. That's it. This is the gear you should get. There's no variation at all. You can do, as a casual player, let's say you're a casual player who's not going to do the group work. You can do, the emissary quests, and you can do whatever other bits of content they throw in the game in a patch, and you can do LFR. That's it. That's what you do. That's what you're going to do. That's it. And the gear is the same. Like if I'm on a paladin, the gear I have is the same as any other paladin. There will be, your top players will have higher item level of that same gear. It's the same gear though, isn't it? That's the thing. You can get a good set and that's it. It might take a whole expansion for them to create another one. Well, okay, but again, you could argue with ESO, the gearing isn't the be all and end all of it. It isn't in WoW. I mean, as a raider, gear's important because obviously you need it to do the content, but it's not. It wasn't an exciting thing. Maybe in the early days when I was new to MMOs and everything's exciting, but since then, gearing has not been at all exciting for me. In fact, in TBC, it was distinctly dull because when I was in a guild and I was doing Tempest Keep and Serpent Shrine Cavern, I was passing over the tier 5 set gear, for example, to begin with, because to start off with, I was a Holy Paladin in TBC. And I quite liked the tier 4 stuff for healing. I didn't really rate the tier 5 at all. So I let others have it. And then I just took the tier 5 for Ret, and then I ended up being Ret and used it for that. So I went Power Ranger for Ret, really. I'm going to see if that's popped back up, because if not, then I think for the next hour I should probably actually just create that hunter character and do some tour guest, or I could just go on the paladin. No, I might go on the paladin. I haven't done all the quests in the vampire zone. Actually, I might do that. Might do more tour guest next week when maybe the paladin will be in. The Legion Legends is must be exciting for me. No, Jesus God. The furthest thing from exciting. And I wasn't even one of the poor bastards that got Pride as the first legendary. I actually got a reasonable legendary as my first one. And do you know what? It wasn't remotely exciting. I was doing some trash in... I can't even remember the name of the bloody raid now. And you know, it was like, oh, in fact, it actually shocks me when it happens. Like, oh, what's that thing? Oh, I've got a legendary. Oh, it's not too bad. It wasn't one of the good ones, but it wasn't one of the disastrous ones. It wasn't useless. It was one I wore. And that was it. It was... No. Gearing has never been fun in this game since vanilla. Vanilla it was. You know, it was always fun getting epics. But, you know, literally, wow. What about the emissary chest? Yeah, no. Not at all. I mean, is it really exciting to open up an emissary cache that gives you an Azerite piece of gear and thinks, if this was some shoulders, it'd be an upgrade, and if it's not, it won't be? Oh, look, it's not. It won't. No. Even if it was, it's not exciting. No. So I don't really, you know... I mean, that's got my attitude. There are some people who are excited by gear, and that's fine. I understand it's a subjective thing, but it's not for me. The problem is in WoW is that the whole game seems to be geared around, if you pardon the expression, getting your power gear, whereas Elder Scrolls Online isn't. You know, for me, when I play Elder Scrolls Online, because I haven't done as much of it as someone who's been playing it really properly, for me, the thing I focus on is not gear but skill points. You know, getting sky shards for your skill points. That's the power upgrade for me, which of course is not always a direct power thing. I'm going to jump off this. I've got a bubble, which I nearly forgot the keybind for. Yeah, it's knackered on this character basically. Perhaps what I should do is create another not tonight. Create another paladin, start again, as obviously they've changed that. That starter quest has changed, so I think I have to just create a new character. But that happens a lot in alpha as well. Most exciting item you experienced was Deathbringer's Will, since you morphed to different races depending on the proc. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, there again is an example of where the actual excitement is cosmetic, though, isn't it? Oh, the last exciting item for you was the two-handed sword from Deathwing. Yeah, I know the one you mean. The one that summons the tentacles. Yes. Now, that's a sore point for me. You know, that is a very sore point because Gertha, that's it. I couldn't get that in Heroic. This is before Mythic existed, remember. I couldn't get that on Heroic for ages and ages and ages. It just wouldn't drop. Wouldn't drop. It was deeply annoying. By the time I got it, you know, the expansion was basically over. Hi, Toby. How am I doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. Right. I am going to get off this. So hold on. Let me just double check then. So... Oh, yeah, okay, Hunter is in. Right, well, we'll make a Hunter then, won't we? Let's make a Hunter. And do a bit of Torghast on that. Oh, no. Why did it does this? Sorry, the screen's gone black. Don't worry about it. For some reason, when I logged... It did this last week. When I log out, it just exits the game completely. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not taming a Vulpera. I will, however, create a Hunter. We'll recreate Wigglebow, sort of. Right. Actually, let's first of all... So, bear markings, blades, crane, leaf, claws. We'll have claws. Yeah, that's fine. I'll have a greenish skin colour, I think. Oh, there's no need to go mad. Hello. Choose your starting zone. No, 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 no. What's it trying to do here? Oh, I clicked the wrong... My fault. I'm trying to create a level 1 there. Don't want a level 1. Right, we'll try that again. That's fine. That's fine. Although I do want to trial out some creating characters, but not just now. Oh, I don't want a bloody gun. I want a bow. Oh, shit. I'll have to transmog it. Oh, yeah. They've given the actual cosmetic features names now. Yeah, that's right. So apparently they are bear claws indeed. Right. So I've got a load of stuff to do, unfortunately. Bear with me, please. Oh, it means I'll get to experience that quest, that change quest, won't I? Right, I should have thought about this in advance, though. I'm now thinking that I might have... I might be regretting this decision, and that maybe I should have just gone on my other paladin, because this is going to be awkward. Right, that's Q. That's Shift and E. Where's Shift and E? That's that. You can go there for now. Freezing trap E. Tar trap, Control and E. That's there. Aspect of the turtle, F2. Exhilaration, Alt3. Feign death. Oh no. I can go there. Intimidation, oh no. Intimidation really should... Oh, maybe I'll do that on G. Barbed shot there. Why have I got Cobra shot twice? What's going on? Piss off. Is survival still melee? I'll have to check for you in Uno Memento. Oh, Hunter's Mark. Oh, hang on. What bloody spec am I here? Oh, I am on Beastmaster. Have we got Hunter's Mark on Beastmaster? Kill shot can go there. Right. I'll leave it like that for now. Disengage should be on F1. What talents has it given me? It's just given me all the basics. That's fine. That's okay. Right. I do, however, need the yak. And actually, I want a better mount as well. But we've got to transmog first of all, because I'm not accepting this. No sets. Oh, no. Oh, I can't transmog it into anything decent. Bows. Alright. Fine. Most of survival's ability can be used at moderate range, but the main spender monkey spike needs melee range. Yeah. Okay. Right, let's so basically, this starter quest, to begin with, when it was first put on, they have obviously changed it a bit. It has you trying to explain that there are these things in the moor, Kyrian in the moor, which I don't even get the significance of because I don't know the early parts of it. It's not been put in for testing. And so that's obviously changed, because to begin with you can't really persuade her of the importance of it, and it takes you a little while. But I notice on that bit there's usually a bit of an argument, which I'm not having with her now. Did I just spend my last gold on transmog? Did I? No, I've got loads of gold left. Look, 894 gold left. I don't have. There's no use for gold here, apart from repairing. Right, this bit's the same though. Is it? Oh, I've got to pick up the anima container. But if it did cost me all my gold to transmog, then of course I would. You don't think I'm going to allow myself to look like clown vomit just because Blizzard seem to think that set looks good? No idea why. I haven't got time to go checking the rest of it though. As long as the bow looks alright and I don't have a silly hat on, it's fine. Is it true that Pandaren can be DKs now? Yeah. Death Knight Pandas. I am not dead. I do not understand. From which world, system, entity, realm, or from what did you originate? Alright, I come from Azeroth. Play its game. And I still haven't done the new DK whatchamacallit yet. Oh! Aspect of the cheetah. I knew I was missing something. But at the point at which I was going to have a go on it, this came out. What is that pet ability? What pet ability? Which one? I don't know why I've got this pet, by the way. I ought to actually just get rid of it. Oh, God. Dismiss. The only one that's reasonably sensible here. The one next to her. Oh, Jesus. Where's my hysteria? I can't actually see it. Oh, down here, sorry. Well, it's now changed. Alright, let me put the other one back then, so I can have a look. What did I have out? I had a flappy pet, didn't I? Wind Serpent. It was winged agility, dodge chance. But I'm not having a I don't like flappy pets. So I'll have a fox instead. Puts your fox in a playful state. Well, that's also dodge. Seems to be dodge for both of those. Make sure the pet is set to ferocity. Oh yeah, good point. Hold on. How am I even going to do that? How do I even do that? Yes, they may do. Okay. I don't seem to be able to change it. Doesn't matter. We'll worry about that later. It might mean I just have to get out a different pet. I'm actually... That is not a fox. What has it done to my fox? No. Can't it just give me a decent pet? What the hell is this? Do I really... I don't want a stag. Alright, we're going to have the flappy pet, because I assume this is that is a ferocity one. I hate flappy pets. I mean, I can't remember offhand because my pets are ferocity pets anyway, the ones I tend to use, even in BFA. Ah, that was a bit different. Well, alright, there's an easy way to settle this. I shall very quickly... No, I won't, because it actually sometimes messes up with this. Either way, at the moment, it doesn't seem that it can be changed. At least in here at the moment. And this is the point at which it got to earlier. Did I reach 60 on any character in the current classic? No. I kept making lots and lots of new characters. I might have got one close to something. 20 or something, no more than that. Before I stopped playing it, and then I've not gone back to it since because I was properly bitten by it again, and I'm not doing it again. At the end of the day, I played it when it was live. That's fine. I don't need to do it again when there's lots of other games that are current that I also need to do. Right, where is... So I'm not playing Classic again now. But I'm not going to do this first quest. I'll just pretend I am and then actually just disappear into there. Right, fine. I'll leave her there. And in we go. I maybe should have had a look at my... Oh, right. Let's have a look at these then. Oh, Oh, no. Right, arcane shot I should really have in somewhere, shouldn't I? Put that there. Oh, maybe that there, that there. What's this? Shield. This is too many abilities, I have to say. Not bothered about Scare Beast, I'll worry about that later. But anyway, never mind. Oh, this is allowing me 5 deaths. I was only allowed 3 last week. And here would be that thing you... No? This is different. What's going on here? This is not the same as last week, is it? Let's see here. Ah. So I don't just get to pick on a menu. I have to click on a... Fracture chambers. Which one did I do last time? Cell 4. Go on then. Let's just have a look. Can you get any gear pieces from... no. Well, there weren't any last week anyway. I mean, I can only go by... What you are doing is you're collecting stuff for the legendary stuff. You wonder if the pet scales well with anima powers. Well, it depends which ones, doesn't it, I suppose. Kill command damage increased by 30%. We'll go with that. Oh, what? You find yourself partially absorbed into some armaments. Complete the binding and take the armament. Oh, I'm being mean to the spirit. What did I get out of it? I don't know what I got out of that. I'll free this soul though, just to see, and you get a blessing for that, which is worth whatever it is. Versatility. Really hate flappy pets. Kill that thing. Anyway, have I been following the news this last week? Well, it depends which news you mean. What particular news? Why even have options if one does nothing? Hang on, options of what? Sorry, have I missed something? Oh, yeah, well, okay. Oh, sorry, for the spirit. It may just be that it's just not working, because that's new, because last week I didn't have the option to do, you know, you just freed the souls and that's all there was, or you clicked on them, you know, for something. So I imagine it's just not working at the moment. That's the thing about alpha. Sometimes you can't just, if something seems a bit crap, it might just be that it's not working. I'm going to keep trying it though. Again, yeah, I don't know what I'm getting out of it. Oh, hello. Put that on. Why hasn't that worked? Right, haste increased by 25%, but nature damage and healing done is... No, I'm not having that. Kill command damage increased by 30%, yeah. How do you regenerate health as a hunter? Is spirit bond regen still a thing? You've got aspect of the wild, but in terms of spirit bond, let's have a look. Talents. Whereas, because I've just gone, I forgot to, when I went to a resting place, change that. So you've got, that's just movement speed. Natural mending. So that's just reducing the cooldown on exhilaration. I mean, there isn't Spirit Bond, is there? I don't think there's anything like it either. I think when it comes to healing, you've got Exhilaration. Oh, WoW news, like all the... No, I haven't caught up with that. It sounds like I'm going to have to, though, because we were talking about that earlier on in terms of the Torghast change. Oh, here it is. Okay, I see. Torment, Soulforged Heat. Yeah, I'm not loving this. But no, I mean... I will probably have to do that at some point this week, won't I? It is quite awkward though, because I would have thought, you know, when I switched to being a full-time YouTuber, I might have a bit more time to do other things. It turns out, if anything, a lot less time. Ooh. So I'm going to assume that this armaments thing, I'm going to try it with these two first. And just... I'm going to keep checking. It's definitely not... Hold on, let me just... It's not actually giving me anything, is it? No. Okay, I'm not actually using cheater, but we might as well. Exhilaration cooldown. Again, not using that at the moment, but at some point I guess I will. Nothing there. Oh, what have we got over here? Master it, fine. Do I still have concussive shot? Yes, down there. Yeah, that's still there. I mean, at the moment in here, obviously it's quite low level. They're dying, everything's dying very quickly. Later on, yes. I mean, on Beastmaster, I would hope not to generate more threat than my pet. And before that happened, I would be using Misdirection, I would hope. We're only having a little potter around, really. Nothing in here is really bad. Right, let's just free these then, because we at least get something out of that. Got anything there? Not yet. No. What is this? What do we do with this? Looks like there's something in there, isn't there? Yeah. Damage of your neck? No. Oh, okay. Alright then. Enemy targeting is obscured. Alright then. Oh, I don't want to exit it. Oops. That's of no help. Alright, I guess this way then. Ah. There's my 5 legendary thingies. I'll keep doing that kill command, I think. Saw some art leaks where they showed some cosmetic changes to the appearance of Hunter's Mark. Glowing whitish blue mark, for example. Well, let's have a look here. Oh no, it died too quickly. Not on there yet, anyway. Unless you obtain it some other way. Or if it's just them playing about and they're not actually necessarily going to implement it. Maybe it's going to be like Warlock's Green Fire. No point in those because I hardly spend them. And you would, we'll have that. Right. Oh. Right, what we're going to have. We'll buy that. Aspects of the tutor. What's the cooldown on now? 1.2 minutes. Anything else I want to buy? Increases the available death count for your party. Oh, why not? Oh, I ain't got enough for that. And there was me turning down some... So I'm allowed to die 6 times now. Splendid. This seems to be a small level. Duration of Bestial Wrath increase. Yeah, we'll have that. Cosmetic marks might be linked to Covenant choice. That is also true, yeah. Oh, well, someone was asking if we get any gear in here. I've just got a grey hat. Doesn't seem to have anything. So, maybe. Oh, hello. We've got to do some jumping. Nothing there. Well, so you're going to choose Covenant based on your character's RP, not going to min-max. I mean, it's an interesting point, isn't it? Like, I'll be a casual player, so I could do whatever. What would I do? I don't know. I think I would... I feel I would still have to make what I would consider to be a pragmatic decision. Oh, hello. An actual mob. There's... Alright, yeah. Well, silence. That sounds decent. Any news on Palace season or not that I have seen? At the end of the day, I'm not really going to consider any news to be up to much until we can test it. Which it may well not. It may be for a long time. Really, if BFA is anything to go by, then some of the stuff may not be up for testing for quite a while. Like Islands, for example. I mean, I'm surprised in some way Torghast is available as early as it is. Islands was definitely not. That was quite a while in, as I remember. Right, I'll pick some of that just in case I come up against another little seller. You've also got to remember with the Covenants that you know, some things are going to be fairly certain now in terms of the general nature of them from the RP point of view, but some things could be up for wild changes. Kill that rat. That one just seems to be exploding rather than shooting fire. What's that about? Oh, now it's shooting fire. Flappy pets make it awkward to loot. They shouldn't be flappy pets. So at the moment, 4% of maximum health inflicted as fire damage every 5 seconds. Doesn't seem to be doing me a huge amount of problems, but this is still like, you know, and this is a quest thing, but it's still quite, it's only on floor 5. I don't know roughly how long it's taking to go up here. I don't know how long I've been in. 'Cause it doesn't... But I have to say I'm not loving it. It doesn't seem to me a useful thing to put in the game. What have we got here? Nothing there. All there. Oh, what is that on the floor? That looks interesting. Because what is particularly annoying about it as well is if you end up in a, like, you know, a toughish fight later on. Big old necklace, big clumsy cartoon-like necklace. Spells and attacks have a chance to grant 35% credit. Acquire a bag filled with gold and various gems. Oh, we'll have the bag, please. We'll have what's in the bag. Eye of Prophecy, gem chip, and a coin purse. Where is the coin purse? What? Where, what? Oh, that's what he just gave me, so I didn't get any actual gold out of it. Alright then. Maximum health by 60% or clear all permanent debuffs left by the Eternal Subjugator. Does that count that? Let's try that. Ah, it doesn't include that. It's not a reset on the timer. I sort of knew it wouldn't be, but never mind. What's the cooldown on this now? It's less than 2 minutes. I might as well just use Exhilaration just for the hell of it. I'm not anticipating needing to use it in a clutch situation. Might as well finish this level off, haven't I? Right then. Oh, what is in here? This looks a little interesting. Cooldown on Exhilaration again. Hunter's Mark. See, that could be quite good if we're going to keep having this ticking time bomb. Oh, certain anima cells offer additional. I don't like choice, actually. I'm going to have that. Down to less than 1.5 minutes cooldown now. What is this? What? Oh. Immune to rising heat. Oh, oh no. This sounds like the sort of thing I need to chase quite a lot. Why would I need to be immune to that? Oh, this will be one of the bigger ones. No! Oh, I got them, it's fine. Right, let's have one of them for now. Huh. Do that. Oh no, itchy eye. Don't want that. Oops, what am I doing? He's already got Hunter's Mark on. Why is he doing this to me? I suspect flame binding would be more of a problem for someone that's not a hunter. Oh, my eye is itching all of a sudden. Oh yeah, boss loot still not giving me any actual loot, but never mind. Finish your run next to Torghast, I guess so. What was that? That would be about 20-25 minutes, wouldn't it? So in terms of what you permanently get out of it, and that was just a quest run, so that's not one that goes on forever. So 15 of the legendary things, which I think is consistent with what I got last week from a run. Some sort of boss loot, so you get something, we just don't know what yet. And then soul essence, condemned soul essence. And then I just happen to get an extra couple of bits in terms of gems. Going back outside after a good Torghast run must be very disheartening. Yeah, it may well be indeed. Yeah, but no, so let me have a think now. I don't like that stacking debuff. Obviously it wasn't a problem for that, but that was a very basic level that I just did. It may be more of a problem. There may also be certain classes that are going to suffer more than others. I mean, I think a hunter is something that would do very well in Torghast. I'm not going to... There isn't time to do another one now. I'm just going to finish off these quests. So I'm unsure on whether it would be a deal closer for me, because if it turns out that that debuff, all it does is just stop you, literally just stops you waiting around for your cooldowns every like pull, then it's probably not that much of a bind. There's no point in asking me, I'm afraid, how Torghast compares to Visions. I didn't really do much Visions. That being said, all I can say is I think Torghast is alright. It's not the sort of thing I'm going to log on every day for, but it could be the sort of thing I would log on each, to play the game for. If I looked at Shadowlands and said, okay, I'm casual, I'm not going to be doing any raids apart from maybe LFR. I'm not going to be doing Mythic Plus dungeons. Obviously I'm not going to do PvP, and I don't like that anyway. you know, is Torghast enough to keep me occupied and to put in the effort to get my character, you know, up to date in terms of the quests with each patch? Maybe. It is going to depend, though. I do not like that hurry up, as we might call it, the hurry up mechanic. I really don't see that there's a great need for that. Oh, I'm supposed to be in here. I suppose the question is, how much of a pain in the arse is it going to be for me personally? And if it turns out not to be, then it could still be okay. Alright, that's not the one I'm looking for. When you played WoW, you did it for the raiding. It's just a different experience. I mean, that was the same for me. Being perfectly honest. I mean, the first time I really properly quit the game was in Wrath. And the reason I did that is because my first experience of raiding in Wrath, that first tier, was god-awful. And I thought that that was going to be the model for raiding in WoW. You know, this idea that you kill all the bosses straight away and then you just have achievements to do. Obviously, I didn't know that they were going to improve the situation for Ulduar. You know, there was no way I would have known that. But, you know, what I did, I quit the game. I didn't just say, right, I'm not going to raid because this is crap. I actually just quit the game because I knew that I didn't want to play the game if I wasn't going to be raiding. And it may be that the same is true now. I don't know. Why can't I find this bastard? Oh, he's there. It just may be that WoW isn't a good game for casuals, or at least for me. But we'll see. Torghast has the possibility. I'm not dismissing it. It's possible. It's possible that it will be fine. You missed out most of Ulduar first time round. I missed out on Ulduar and Icecrown. I missed out on the whole caboodle rather, because you know, it was by the time I just stopped playing the game. I just completely quit the game. So even when I came back, and it was later on in Wrath, but it was in the middle of ICC, and I was just doing it casually. There was no way of me getting back up to speed to raid then anyway. So I didn't come back properly until end of Cataclysm. But then again, you know, I knew I wanted to get back into raiding. So in BFA, it was the first time I've actually genuinely tried to play the game as a casual. And it didn't work out. It was for a while. It only works, I realised, if I could at least do something like Mythic Plus Dungeons. That was okay, but as soon as my sort of crew stopped playing it, then that was that knackered. What is this? Don't want that. Can't do anything with that, can I? Right, I've only got a few minutes, so I'll just spend it murdering some animals. Oh, actually, maybe I should think about talent. Did they abandon the whole island expeditions and war fronts going to Shadowlands? It very much looks like it, doesn't it? Very much looks like it. To be fair, you could argue Torghast is like Islands, because you can do that as a group. I think Torghast is better than Island. Islands, never from the start. I wouldn't have even wanted to do Islands with people that I enjoyed grouping with. You know, because when I remember testing islands in the BFA alpha, and it was with people that I knew, like in game, and you know, we had as much fun as you reasonably could, and even then, at the end of it, I thought to myself, this is gonna be pants. This content is pants. So the idea, there was no chance that I was going to actually go in pugs and do it. So in live, I've done one island. When I don't know, I took leave of my senses and did one island. I don't know why. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to have a look at talents. I usually quite like Dire Beast, actually. Oh, do you know what? Sorry, I'll just leave it on the passive ones. Was there any way for them to make islands work? Yeah, I think there was. I tell you, a big plus for me with Torghast, and they could have done this with islands as well, is you can do it as a single person. You know, that's huge, because it is effective. It is. You've got to. I think you've got to think these days with MMOs that yes, massively multiplayer. We get that, but a lot of people play them as a single player. I play ESO as a single player. I play Star Wars: The Old Republic as a single player. I play them all as a single player now. So obviously you have to have group content, and your premier content, of course, has to be group content. That is understood, and the greatest rewards have to come from it being group content as well. But the content, you need casual content in, and the content you identify as casual content, you really should have single player options in it. And you know, as Blizzard is showing, the technology is there to do it. It's absolutely there to do it. Islands was supposed to be random. Yeah, I think, to be fair, Islands was their first attempt at that sort of what they call procedurally generated content. It didn't seem all that random, did it? I agree. But you know, it was Torghast looks a lot better. It's easier to do it with something like that, I think, as well, where you've got the different floors as opposed to one giant island, which was never that easy to do it with, I suppose. But if Islands had have had a, you know, if they'd have just thought to themselves, this is casual content, let's let a single player do it as well, like have a, you know, single player version of it, then people could have just done it like that. I think somehow content like that is worse in groups. I mean, sometimes you can do it with a few people that you know and have a laugh, but when it's something you have to do, like if you do it on your own in your own time, then it can be more fun, because you can just stick some music on. You can do it in your own time. You know, you don't feel that sort of social responsibility that you do when you've got other people in your group as well, and you don't have that other social aspect when there's someone in your group you don't perceive as pulling their weight and moaning at them, because I always think it's an unhealthy experience in an MMO when you're doing content in a way that makes you hate other people. And there's a little bit of that in WoW. WoW could be so much more. You'd love to create your own path like in ESO. I think certain things in terms of WoW are set in stone. I mean, some things, to be fair, it is an old game. They're not, and there are certain things you know they're not going to completely rewrite it. And you know, in some ways it's understandable, in some ways it's not. It's just their stubbornness. But you just have to accept it either way. It is the way it's going to be. Haters are everywhere, yeah, but I don't particularly like doing content where it makes me hate other people. Like sometimes, you know, if you're in a questing area in ESO, there is never a problem with someone else being another questing area. Now, I'll tell you something that WoW does get better than ESO, though, and that's like nodes, resources. So in WoW now, and this obviously was not something that was always there, but it is now. You know, if there's like a mining node and you're a miner, you go up and someone else, you're fighting the mob near it, and someone else comes and grabs it, well, you can still get it. You don't have to think like in the old days, ooh, you bastard, you could see I was fighting that mob, you wanker. Whereas in ESO, that is still the case. You know, if you're, you know, because the node isn't there for a little while afterwards, and it ideally would be. So in ESO, you do get a situation, it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen, where you've got someone out, you're fighting the mob for it, and someone comes and just nicks it. But that is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna have to call that there for today. So next week, I don't know what I'll do next. I'll leave it up. Did I try? I have tried Guild Wars 2 many years ago. Didn't get into it. Didn't give it very long, but I didn't get into it. What was I going to say for next week? Yeah, I'm gonna decide. See if there's a new build and there's something in it. I'll see. Like if Paladins can go in Torghast, I may do a bit of Paladins in Torghast. If there's some more quests, I might do that. Or I may just try and create a new character and see the leveling experience from level 1 in the alpha and see how that goes. Because that might be interesting. But I'm going to wait. So before I decide what I'll do next week with this, it'll depend on what, if anything, new they add. But that is this week anyway, so thanks for coming on. I'll be back on Tuesday, but that'll be ESO with some Nord. I don't know which one yet. I've got 2 on the go. And then, yeah, more Shadowlands next week. So have a good evening, everyone, and I will see you later.